Mm. There's just so much shit going on. Yeah, update the schedule. You. Mango. Steve.
Howdy.
Howdy.
You sound like you're just waking up.
No, I've been up. I did 2 interviews already today, and then
Oh,
yeah, trying to figure out everything on the schedule is kind of a bitch. But we're here.
uh,
We got it.
it finally happened like 6 months later.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. But obviously, yeah, we gotta ask for the people, for the chat and all that. Obviously, don't dox yourself, but tell us who you are, your name, and a little bit about yourself.
I am the VTuber Adelaris, Addy for short. I have to let people know because they get it wrong all the time. uh, living in Canada, Atlantic coast. That's about as accurate as I'll get. And yeah, I've been VTubing for almost 2 years, just a couple months shy. And actually just got done a 3-hour stream playing Path of Exile. I'm trying a solo run this time with a monk, and it's not too bad, not too bad.
Okay, okay. So you said you've been doing this for about 2 years. What exactly got you into VTubing altogether?
Um, I tried streaming in the past, like as a flesh tuber, but it didn't work out. And then a lot of life happened in between, and then cut to like 10 years later, and I'm like, you know what? Time has not been good to my face. I don't want to be on camera.
Fair. I feel that. I feel that.
So, uh, I ended up discovering VTubing quite a while back. I would say around the just before COVID. Uh, I think Nuxanor would have been the first one, but then I found a whole bunch after that through him. And then around the time I decided to start getting back into streaming, I decided to beef up my computer. And that was when I discovered Pipkin Pippa, who in turn had a collab with Kirshi. And then I followed Kirshi for a while, and then that was like the main inspiration to want to get into VTubing directly.
It seems like a lot of people have the that same story where it's like, yeah, I wasn't really doing much, or I tried this before, and then I saw either Kirsch, Smugglana, Nux, or Pippa. And I was like, well, hey, I
Yeah,
could do that.
yeah, they're definitely a lot more influential than I think they're willing to admit sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's so far out of I don't know how many interviews I've done. Holy shit, everything's like meshing together. But out of everyone I've interviewed, yeah, their names come up quite consistently. So it's like,
Yeah,
they got to be doing something right here. They're so modest.
yeah, and like even getting to finally having the model, that was a hard lesson learned in a few ways, because initially I went with a Western artist because I wanted the original concept art to be more like old school, like heavy metal Conan the Barbarian kind of art style, a little bit of that D&D, like older D&D, like Drist era
Yeah.
kind of influence. But the guy agreed to like a 2-month turnaround, and it took 11 months because I kept having to chase him down.
Oh Jesus.
So that delayed me by almost a year, and I
Oh,
was so like distraught over that. Um, didn't know really where to go because I didn't want to go find another artist that way again. And I happened to catch Kirshi on an episode of Side Scrollers where she just happened to mention having the same problems. And at the time, I was very high. And I had the courage to actually just DM her directly, and I got a response back right away with some really good advice to go to like VGen and stuff like that.
I was about
And
to
that
say that.
sped up yeah, it sped up my time schedule incredibly fast,
Mm,
and I was able to have a VTuber model fully up and made like about give or take 3 to 4 months later.
yeah, I wasn't going to go to X for artists because I know they're good artists on there, but they're so out of the price range.
Oh,
It's
there's so many
ridiculous.
scammers.
Yeah,
There's so many. I've been got multiple times now, and it's at the point that I put my foot down. I don't care.
yeah. It's like you. I don't know what it is, but like y'all ruined it for each other. There are probably
Yeah,
some really good artists out there or whatever, but no one will ever know about them because the thing everyone knows Twitter artists for is scamming now. So
yeah. It's kind of embarrassing, but I've lost multiple hundreds of dollars at this point.
um,
Either the person would disappear or the art I would get back would be so substandard. But I'm not a confrontational person,
mhm.
so I'm just like, all right, just fucking learn your lesson and move on. Stop trusting people.
Yeah, literally, that's exactly what I did. I've lost. Good lord, I don't know how much I've lost. And I stopped keeping track. I'm not gonna lie to you, but from there, it's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah,
Perfectly fine.
yeah, it. And I know that AI is like the big controversial topic right now, but honestly, it was interactions like that that actually softened my stance on AI. Because
Mm,
initially, I was very much of the camp of like, all right, for anything relating to my VTubing stuff, I won't use AI for anything. But then after getting screwed again and again and again, it's like, you know what?
it's
At least the computer ain't lying to me.
true, right? Like if the computer can't do it, the computer will tell you I can't do it, and you'll work or you'll find a way around it. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, and like obviously, like I still maintain that if there's something very specific that I want or a very specific artist that I want, of course I'll still pay for it. But I've dipped my toes into it now, and I do mostly shit posts more than anything, just like stuff I wouldn't um commercialize or anything like that. I I still try to keep at least some balance on that stuff, but once you like start playing around with it, it's pretty interesting how coalesced the community around it has started becoming, because a lot of them have started doing like I would say like almost theory crafting about how prompts work, and like a lot of trial and error. And there's quite a few people I know that they'll release prompts and some test images, and then you can just copy their prompts, put your own references, and then get a similar style. And then once you get it, you can do your own editing after the fact. And that's kind of what I do too. It struggles with my character still quite a bit.
Mm,
He's pretty asymmetrical, so sometimes the wrong arm is going to be the metallic one, or the scar is going to be on the wrong side of the face. It's like at that point you learn to work with it, that you realize like AI really is more of a tool than a complete solution by itself. So on the side, as a consequence, I've been learning how to use GIMP a little bit so I can edit in things that I really want to get the actual picture I want.
well, yeah. Yeah. You do what you gotta do. It's funny because like
Yeah,
that's what I do. That's all I've been doing on X here for like the last couple of months, and it's really cool that a lot of people are doing that and whatnot. And so,
yeah, yeah.
how
And
many?
there's a lot of VTubers that are I met through doing this that are really cool too.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was going to ask you, since you're part of this community, how's the experience been for you?
It's been really cool. One of my, I would say, good buddy, Psychro, you probably already know.
Yeah.
He's kind of leading the charge on his own little splinter group now, but I've learned quite a bit from just passively from watching how he does stuff. He's way more advanced and does like videos and stuff. I'm just very basic level, but again, I'm also in my late 30s at this point, and I work full time, so it's not like I have a lot of time to dedicate.
True, true. Now, from
but
here,
but but yeah, it's been pretty clean so far for the most part.
good. Seems I would ask everybody that because a lot of the people I'm talking to come in the same sphere and have a lot of overlap. So it's like and so far I haven't heard a single negative thing about the community. It seems everyone's pretty welcome and open and welcoming to really anyone else who just decides to show up out of the blue. So that's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. I think it's in a sense because it's so new. Um, there's a lot of like mostly curiosity about it, but it's also got a bit of gatekeeping just inherently attached to it. And I don't know if your interviews like go into controversial topics or anything, but I had some thoughts.
No, no, like the thing is, this is about you. So if you get into controversial topics, I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. I'm just here.
Okay. It's more my observation, but there's a lot of left-right spectrum regarding AI,
Yeah,
and a lot of what we tend to call antis or quangos, which are basically sort of nicknames given to people that just annoy you for using AI for any reason. Uh, they sort of filter themselves out of the community just inherently. Like they don't bother touching it because if they do touch it, then they're going against the exact one thing they're saying everybody else not to do. So I think that's part of why I've had such a decent experience with it, because it's like they're not getting in there to like distort a new subculture, at least not yet. So it's more condensed of people that are actually genuinely interested in learning how to use it.
it's nice. I like that. The next step I gotta get into is using like C dance and Kling and whatnot for like the videos. I'm excited about that. Is that something? Well, I mean, obviously you can't dedicate a lot of time to it, as you said, but like if you get a chance to, and it becomes like more accessible, is that something you might look into?
Possibly in the future, yeah. Maybe not like a frequent thing or whatnot like some of the others do, but it's at least worth toying around with and just seeing what like if it actually interests me or not. I don't want to say anything otherwise until I actually get my hands on it. But I mean, I'd imagine in a few years' time it'd be advanced enough that you could actually start coordinating like an entire music video by yourself. You kind of already can, but you got to do it in small pieces.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I heard about
obvi-
that.
obviously, like the more intricate and care you put into it, it takes a lot more time. But yeah, you can. If you're creative, you can do a lot with it. It's such an untapped market right now. Still, at least for the creative side, because like people are still in the learning how to use it stage, just like as a whole.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm kind of glad that it's in that stage because like I wasn't thinking about touching it all that much, but then I saw other people have fun with it, and I was like, well, okay, if you can have fun with it, I guess I could dick around with it. And then from there, it got into maybe an unhealthy obsession because I'll gen like 80 to 120 images a day just of stuff that I'm
Yeah,
writing.
yeah, and like I'm maybe at most five a week.
Mm,
It's not a lot, but even with that little interaction, I'm like learning a little bit every time, and lost my train of thought.
no, no, you're good. With you're a part of X Street, right?
Yeah, yeah. Jess had recruited me like way early on. I don't even fully remember the context of it. I think I put out a post of like, yeah, I just started VTubing a little while back. I don't really belong to any group. And then she just sort of reached out to me one day and sort of just like, here, you're part of the group now. And I just sort of got thrown in, like, oh, okay, just start walking around. And then I wouldn't say like I'm a heavy active member or anything like that. I'm very much on the passive side because I'm limited to how much I can do in a day, anyways. But I do have a ton of mutual friends in there, so I as far as I'm aware, I get along with pretty much everyone there. I'm not in any sort of drama or anything like that regarding anyone there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like I was, what was it? The Jolly and Jewpool, the two people I interviewed earlier, they were talking about how they got into X Street, and it was just like, yeah, Jess just reached out, and now I'm part of the group. I was like, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And yeah, but
Yeah,
like,
it was like it was really surprising too that like that there was so many like mutuals that started joining after the fact, and then at one point even Legal Mindset had had stepped in for a while. I don't know if he's still keeping tabs, but for a little while he was chit chatting with us, and I thought that was super cool.
yeah, he's still in there. He drops in. So is Chibi Reviews. They drop in every once in a while and chat with people.
Shit, yeah, I had to mute the conversation on X because it was blowing up my phone. There's way too many people.
Oh
But
yeah,
I'll have to check in every once in a while, a little more often, I guess.
that's what I do. I'll have it muted for like 2 days, and then I'll come back and like chat for a little bit, and then I just won't show up. Yeah, because if not, I mean, that thing's going off every 20 minutes. Is a really popping group. There's a lot of people in there that are also like starting their journey and whatnot, and looking for help and ideas and advice and stuff. So if you ever do see them and have like the time or whatever, give them a shout. Because me and you have been doing this roughly around along the same time. You said almost
Ridic,
2 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, same here. Now, real quick, tell me about your characters. Are there lore to your character, or?
This character is, I would say, close to 30 years old. I it actually started with the name before anything else. It's kind of a funny chain of events, but it started with me playing StarCraft 64 on an old junker TV that just barely survived the 1996 Quebec ice storm, and then it got donated to me by my relatives because they upgraded to a brand new plasma TV, which was all the rave back in the late 90s. So I'm playing this, and everything just looks like shit because it's already on the 64, which is not great for graphics. And then on top of that, it's like pixelated to fuck. So there's a specific Protoss character named Aldaris in some of the early chapters. I just thought it was a cool name, but I kept misreading it as Adalaris. And about a year later, I finally get to play StarCraft on the computer when I got invited to go to a computer lab in a different town by a friend. And I was like, oh, this game's like blowing my mind. It's so like crisp and clear, and like people are actually talking. There's audio, and like you can read it. And then I realized, oh, it's not Adalaris, it's Aldaris. I'm stupid. But I ended up keeping the name, just because like to me it just slips off the tongue very easily. And then about, I'd say a few months later, I played a game called Org Battle 64. That game auto assigns you a last name, which was Gallant, and I liked that it just worked with the first name, so I just kept it. And then when I eventually started to like make it its own character rather than just a name I had in the back of my head, it started off as a sort of like a space warrior, very heavily Dragon Ball Z inspired, and that's when I started to like teach myself how to draw. It was like just basically stickmen, but the heads and the bodies were more rounded out for some detail, so you can actually see what you're looking at. And this is like grade 7, grade yeah. So I drew a comic book based on that, and then by the time I got to grade 8 or 9, I started getting more into like 3D kind of art, like basically anything not stickman. And the character started to have some influences and changes over time. So there was like a website called Go Gaia, which I think later got changed to Gaia Online, and I would learn how to role play from that site, and like it actually helped me with my English a lot too, because I was actually dealing with people that knew what they were talking about. But it's shifted it from like this like space armor Dragon Ball Z kind of character, more towards fantasy. And then it just sort of like stayed in that sort of limbo for a while. I only really used it as more of a, it was either like a text role play character, or it was just a username with a vague idea what he should look like. And for the longest time, it was basically like somebody's fan art of Sasuke. uh, just because it the way it was drawn was just like what I had in my mind, and I at that point I had stopped drawing because I had too many life things happen that were quite negative, and every time I would draw, things didn't work out, so I just stopped. Then sort of like flash forward another 10 years or so, and I started getting interested in like Dungeons and Dragons and learning more in depth about high fantasy stuff, Lord of the Rings, the Elric series and stuff like that. So that started to shape the character in my mind a little bit more, and I started developing like just again in the back of my head, just some what kind of world would this guy live in. And then once I got to the point where I was getting thinking about going into VTubing, I was like, okay, I need to start coalescing the idea of at least what the hell does he look like, because you can't really have a VTuber model without, you know, knowing what he's supposed to look like to tell the artist, and I didn't want him to go full ham on his own imagination. So eventually I coalesced everything, and then that's where it more or less looks like how I have in my mind now, where he's got the artificial left arm, which was obviously inspired by Berserk, but he's got the elvish appearance, facial scar. But I also kept like some slight elements of things from the past into the design. At some point though, I do think it might be a good idea to write out like an actual story to go with it, because there's a lot of stuff that's like you can explain little stuff and character bits to a person, but they don't have a context to really like how that would have come to be. So it's like, how did he get the face scar? Where did his arm go? Blah, blah, blah. So I figured down the road a little bit, I'll probably take some time to actually start writing out like maybe like a short novel or something for it.
Okay. Seems like what is it? I think you and there's like 3 other people that I've seen that are actually like wanting to do lore with their character, and more of a book or like a light novel type of thing, instead of just being like, hey, we have lore. It's like one sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And like when you're a VTuber by itself, like it's fine to just have very light or almost no lore, especially when it's not that important to your character. But to me, it's been part of my life since I was in middle school, so it would make sense if I took the next step later on and actually started to like author it and kind of bring it to life in its own capacity, rather than just simply being the avatar of me.
Yeah. Oh god. Jesus Christ. I stepped on my cat.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he was there. He popped up all of a sudden. It also doesn't help that it's dark and the cat is also gray. Like, oh, okay. I really can't see homie at all.
Fucking love cats. They're adorable.
I adore little darks doing all this stupid shit. Oh, real quick. There's supposed to be like a heat wave coming through. Are you getting that? Like, even though you're in Canada, are you getting any of that?
Yeah, it's rolling through. I believe right now it's in Ottawa or Ontario, but usually whatever weather they get, we'll get the next day and a half, just because of like average weather speed. So I'd imagine the next day or two is probably going to heat up quite a bit. We had 34 Celsius yesterday, 35, which is pretty hot, but it's not like unlivable.
Right. So I have to say, make sure
Yeah.
you have your AC working, because I've heard a lot of
Oh yeah.
people are that it's fine at the beginning of the day because their AC is fine, but then a couple hours later it breaks, obviously because it's so hot and they're just sitting there. It's like I really hope that doesn't happen here. Apparently, it's supposed to feel
Yeah.
like
No, my
115 here.
that's crazy. Yeah, no, it's not gonna get anywhere that hot, but it handles it. Excuse me, it handles itself. It's I had to replace it last year because my original one died. It's not as strong as that one was, but I made do with the money I had. Um, it, I'm pretty confident I'll get through this just fine. Not many problems. Honestly, it would be better if I wasn't forced to leave the apartment to go to work. Then I
Yeah,
wouldn't
true,
have to deal with outside at all.
true, true. That would be so nice. Now you're talking about how you were drawing at some point. Are you or have you gone back to that at all?
Maybe in the future. I think right now I'm sort of lightly touching back into it with like learning the digital art stuff. Um, but yeah, it became a mental block for a long time just because like I had quite a few different traumas happen in the span of a year, and then every time I would sit down to draw, it like that's all my brain would focus on. So it became like reactionary to just stop. But I think it's been long enough now that I'm kind of processed it and I'm okay.
Hmm.
So at this point, it's just a matter of time. What's kind of keeping me busy right now is I'm slowly selling off belongings because I'm getting ready to move in September. I'm going from Eastern Canada all the way to just the east side of the Rockies, where Alberta is.
Hmm.
So it's going to
Okay.
be a massive life change.
Yeah. You excited?
Well, yeah, excited, but also extremely terrified. I'm a type of person that I don't like major life changes. I struggle with it every time, and it's just always been part of me. But sometimes it's like it's the right thing to do, so you just grit through it and just do it.
Hmm.
So I've been making progress. Sold a lot of big furniture pieces. The only big thing I have left to sell is my drum set. It's like a studio electric set, but I hadn't used it in a long time because I just don't have the space where I currently live. Uh, and it's in pretty good condition, but it's a tough seller's market right now because of all the plummeting dollar value coupled with the inflation. It's hard to get people to buy shit right now,
Very true. Very true. Uh,
and that's a big part of why I'm moving though, because it's unlivable on this side of Canada right now if you're living by yourself. And there's supposed to be a referendum in October. If that referendum passes, there's a 50-50 chance that Alberta will actually split from Canada. So I'm kind of taking a dice roll here and hopefully hoping that pans out for me if that's the case.
okay. Because yeah, 'cause I was gonna ask you about that. I was like, how are you feeling about that? 'Cause that's like massive. I feel like people aren't. I feel like it doesn't get the coverage it deserves, because that's huge. It's like a huge thing.
It gets almost no coverage in Canada. One of the big problems we have here is most of our mainstream media is government funded.
Oh.
They are unable to support themselves, which means they won't bite the hand that feeds them until things get real bad. And especially this side of Canada, massive TBS for like 60 to 70% of the population. It's really bad, and they're unwilling to accept that we're making bad decisions, and a lot of the problems we have are of our own making. We have the capacity to fix things, and we just don't.
Uh, so yeah, it seems to be that you're firmly on the side of, yeah. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Pretty much, because at the rate things are going, like, I mean, there's a good chance that I'm a resourceful enough guy that I could probably make it through, but there's still that very real threat that, you know, in a couple years I could probably end up homeless at this rate.
Yeah.
Um, the average rent where I live, like just for an example, when I first moved to this town that I'm in right now, I was able to get an apartment for $650 a month. After COVID hit and the lockdowns happened, I got evicted and I had to move twice because the first place I moved to turned out to be a massive shit shack, and the
Yeah.
landlord lied to me about the condition it was in. So I had to move again, and it was a place that was about $1,300 a month, so already almost double what I was paying. And then 6 months later, the entire building got evicted because they wanted to raise the rent past what like the normal yearly allowance would be. So I had to move again, and the cheapest place I could find was $1,400 a month, and it's infested with spiders and ants. So it's terrible. It's a pretty common story for the side of Canada, and a lot of people are just trying to make ends meet, and that's why they're the best case scenario we could hope for is we get some sort of election soon and the party can change away from what it's been for the last 15 years and we can actually start to fix the economy. But if the voter base insists on continuing our current managed decline, like that's just the direction everything's going.
What is your prime minister? Isn't it like Mark Carney or something like that? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened with that Trudeau fella, but from at least from the news that I got here, it was like he was here, he resigned. There wasn't like an election or anything. They just put that guy in. Or is that kind of how that worked?
Yes and no. What had happened is Trudeau was in power for over a decade, but the consequences of what they were doing were past the point that they couldn't hide it anymore, and people were starting to notice. Even their own party was turning against him finally. So what they did is he resigns before his head ends up on a block, and they call a snap election effectively. And rather than putting up someone who was already an MP into the race, they just get this fuckface from Europe who claims he's Canadian but doesn't live in Canada. All of his assets are in the States. He's got 3 different passports. Basically ran on TDS effectively. And I think what kind of sealed the nail in the coffin for us was Trump going, Canada's going to become the 51st state. I'm not sure if that's what he meant to do or that's just an unfortunate consequence of, but there were so many people in Canada that looked down on Americans, and that's just been part of the culture. Like, it's not even deserved a lot of the time, but there's like an elitist arrogance in Canadian culture, where they're like, yeah, Trump bad, blame everything on Trump, and then they voted a guy who retained 80% of Trudeau's cabinet, which means the same people responsible for the state that we're in got to keep their jobs.
Oh, wow. Wow, okay.
Yeah, and then on top of that, as soon as Carney got power, he started accelerating our spending, so our record-breaking debt broke record month over month. And then recently, in the last like half year or so, he started playing this game where there's a sort of legal loophole where in our Senate, effectively, they can actually change sides because they have this like, my heart doesn't follow what the party's been doing, therefore I'm going to change side to keep morality sort of thing. And like that happens every once in a while. That's always been a thing. but it just started happening one after another over and over, and people started putting the dots together. This guy is fucking blackmailing and bribing MPs to cross because he had one with a minority government, but he didn't have quite enough to become a majority government. So when you're a minority government, the opposition, which is like an official position, has more leverage to actually hold you accountable for what you do. So he basically got enough MPs to cross the aisle to his team. It gave him a majority government, and the first thing he did was start turning off all the cameras during our committees. So like everything started getting censoring. We have no idea who's talking about what, and then they just started ramming bill after bill after bill, and it's all censorships, trying to get tech companies to give them back doors, trying to basically create more hate speech laws, and trying to authorize more ability to do warrantless searches. So it's like 1984 shit all over the place. And it's like the second he had the power to do it, that's what he started to do.
That's Jesus. And what? Someone in chat was like, multiple stories from people who were supposed to be counting the votes got sent home within the hour of the news that Carney won. Huh.
Yeah. And the news came out today because Carney has been so inept at getting anything done for Canada. He's probably spent more time outside of the country at this point, going from place to place, cutting all these quote unquote deals. But he's not even like doing any contract deals. He does memorandum of understanding, which is sort of like pinky promises. They don't even have to be accountable for it. And I think, based on what I've seen over the past year, I think he's absolutely terrified of Trump and is so determined to divorce Canada's relationship from the US that he's actively sabotaging all of our trade networks. And today they announced that the US is no longer ongoing the US, Canada, Mexico trade agreement. They're just talking to Mexico now. Canada's been cut out, and now over the next 6 to 10 years, it's going to be sunsetted, which means that we just lost a shitload of trade and nobody's going to invest into us.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it gets worse every month here.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say, so I guess get to Alberta or get here in the States or something. Anything.
Yeah. And like when I was a kid for about 5 years or so, I did live in the States. So worst comes to worst, I kind of had my foot in the door in that regards. I don't know if that really applies to me anymore, but at least I'm familiar enough with American culture that I can easily assimilate.
I was about to say, I mean, you seem fine, so I don't think it'd be that difficult. Like, worst case scenario, we just kind of get you over here. You know, I'm pretty sure someone wouldn't mind harboring a Canadian refugee.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Vanessar in chat was like, oh yeah, apparently you guys are doing like big deals with China for some reason.
China. Oh yeah. The main reason, because a lot of people don't know this about Carney, or they do, but they don't realize the scale. But Carney was the CEO of Brookfield, and Brookfield is a multi-billion-dollar company. I don't know if it's close to trillion, but it's enormous. They used to be a Canadian company, and just before going into the election, like literally months before going into it, they transferred the headquarters from Canada to New York.
I remember hearing about that, actually.
Yep. And then on top of that, like the main headquarters is apparently in Bermuda. Somebody found that it's actually just above a bicycle shop just because they have the biggest tack brakes there.
Yeah, no, that sounds right.
But Brookfield has a lot of subsidiaries, and a lot of them have direct ties to China, so they do a lot of business with them. So as soon as Carney took power, lo and behold, Brookfield suddenly has a lot more work being involved with China. The name of the group slips my mind right now, but there's basically a Chinese sort of like infiltration group that operates in Canada, and they have like direct meetings with quite a few politicians when none of that should be happening in the way that it's going. But because the liberals have so much control, that a lot of it just goes under the table and barely anybody reports on it.
Also, are you all right? I don't know. Maybe there was
Me?
someone in the back. I heard coughing. I was just like,
Oh, that's my brother. He went to the bathroom and
oh, okay. I was about to say, it's like, as long as someone's all right. I was wondering what the hell it was. Okay.
yeah, no, I'm good.
So when is last I heard, what was it? Alberta was doing a vote, and then the country or the government was like, yeah, no, you can't do that, or something like that.
Yeah. Long story short is back in the 90s, Quebec tried to separate, and they got close. It was like 1 or 2% off, but they failed the referendum to split. However, as a sort of like reconciliation to try to ease their anger, they implemented federal law to allow more official steps to be able to do that into the federal system. So if that kind of pressure ever came up again, then there would at least be a more legal and federalized way to actually divorce from the country. So it's like built into the law now. And one of the biggest problems Alberta has specifically is Canada has this thing called equalization payments. So they take the taxes from all the provinces and then equalize them back to the provinces based on how much they're making versus spending. And Alberta, like, this came into effect like I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, a long time. But basically, ever since that went into effect, because Alberta is such a money generator for the country, they've never received any of that money back. It's all gone to the other provinces and overwhelmingly to Ontario and Quebec. So we have all these problems going on. Our economy is tanking. And then Alberta is just sitting there. It's like, okay, you guys just steal from us nonstop. We get nothing back from the federal level. And there's constant inner fighting between the provinces. We don't even have free trade between the provinces. Like, everything has to be authorized basically through the each independent province, really, for like interprovincial trading. Whereas in the US, you don't have to do that. If you want to be in California and sell something to Tennessee, like, you don't have to take extra steps. You just make your shit and sell it.
Well, to say that sounds ridiculous. Like, I couldn't.
Yeah,
it just seems like a lot of extra bureaucratic nonsense for absolutely no reason.
correct. The main problem is Canada is about 24 to 25% of its population works directly for the government. It is a bloated bureaucracy, and it's gotten to the point that people do things for the sake of process or for the sake of the bureaucracy rather than weighing if what they're doing actually makes sense or not. So Alberta is like obviously frustrated with this to the point of like, why are we still in Canada when the entire country is being vampiric towards us? And we're capable of doing so much more. We're capable of generating so much, like billions and billions of wealth, more than they currently are for the whole province. But there's this red tape after red tape, and you can't start any projects without like 10 years of environmentalist shit that should only take like a few months at the most. Like, everything is designed to slow them down, and like the people are getting fed up, and that's why they want to use that official capacity to separate from the country. And most of them would rather become their own state, but there are some people frustrated enough where they would even join the US if it came to that. So that's sort of its own topic, but there's sort of a majority agreement, at least between those two camps, that they just don't want to be part of Canada anymore if Canada is not going to change the way it's operating.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I get that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm biased, obviously, because I'm in the States myself, But
Yep.
if you did end up leaving, and you became a part of the U.S., yeah, great. Like, you guys do what you want. I'm just saying it'd be a lot cooler if you were part
if I
of
ever
us.
became an American, I'd be very loud about it.
100%. I'd be just as loud with you. Then.
Yeah, because like I said before, like I grew up in most of my elementary years in the States, so I I went from French Canadian to just purely American, and then went back to Canada for middle school. But the main thing that got hammered into me from those formative years is like understanding like why US and Canada developed the way they are, and like why that's really important to the culture as a whole. Because like we came from a Western ideology, and obviously it's changed and evolved over time, but that core is still there. And I still view the US and Canada as sister countries. They're both from majority the UK and French, but obviously a little bit of others in between. But that's why like they got along for so long. Like you didn't even need a passport to cross the border until after 9/11, because they were so like unified, I guess is the right word.
Yeah, something like that.
Like what tried to happen in the US, like the whole communist Marxist mindset really affected Canada really badly. And it's kind of sad to say, but it feels like it's a dying country, and I hope it doesn't get to that point.
That would suck. But at least from the stuff that I'm seeing, that is what I don't want it to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like way too many people are fed up, and then there's also people just on the other side that are like, oh yeah, well, I'm fed up with them not wanting to be our version of correct. So I just wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. I just hope everyone that actually is affected by it gets, well, at least in Alberta, gets what they need. Because I was thinking, I mean, yeah, Alberta makes its own stuff, but like how, I wonder how that would look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because like they don't have all the raw ingredients they need, but the biggest thing they have is the oil. And they have the infrastructure for it. They just need a place to actually pipe it. And just as another example of how ridiculous this country is, on both coasts of Canada, we have processing for oil, but Alberta doesn't have a pipeline to either of them. And where I live, like about an hour away from here, is one of the biggest oil processing in Canada. And we're actually equipped to handle the Alberta oil sands, but we can't get a pipeline here because Quebec refuses to let it cross to over to this province.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So instead, in order for us to get oil, we have to burn oil through tanker trucks to get it over here.
Well, I really hope that's worth it. I feel like I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
Something equally dumb too, and this is a couple months ago, but when the whole war in Iran started, Carney's big brain idea was like, okay, we'll just get the oil from Australia instead of pumping it ourselves and creating stuff. You would think that Australia's route would go from Australia to British Columbia because they're in the same ocean. Nope. It goes down underneath South America and then around to the east coast of Canada.
Why?
My assumption is because that's where the bigger processing plant is. But it's like, it's so like everything is so frustratingly inefficient to a cartoonish level. And I think that as well has contributed to massive brain drain in this country, because people who have an intelligence of above 95 can understand, like, oh, we're doing like everything wrong. Like, it shouldn't be getting this bad this quick. 15 years ago, our dollar was almost on par with the American dollar. That's how good our economy was. And now it's about 70 per dollar.
It's funny. I was just looking at that when you were talking about rents. Yeah, it's like 72, 73 cents. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
What happened? Because like you can see the
all,
overall trend, and it's just it's not straight down, but it's going down.
yeah, and like it had a bit of a downward decline pretty much as soon as Trudeau took power. But what really killed it was the lockdowns. Our lockdowns lasted the full 2 years, but they also went out of their way to nuke small markets just across the board. So when you actually look at graphs like comparing the US, excuse me, to Canada, like we never recovered really from 2020.
Man. And if I'm hearing some more news correctly, you guys never recovered from that, and then also you're just immigrating hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people into your country a year now, something like that, right? Or no?
Yep. Wow. The majority of them are coming from China and India, if I understood it correctly. A lot of them are coming in on a temporary basis, but then they're just not leaving, and the government's not really enforcing that at all. So now we got new problems like Khalistani terrorist gangs forming, and basically all the tribal and gang and clan warfare of other countries on the other side of the planet are now here.
I have heard about that. Have you guys gone like fully UK? Do you guys have the rape gangs there too?
So far, I've heard very little news about it, so I can't quantify with any certainty, but it's not unreasonable to say that because we've been following the exact same thing the UK had been doing, that we're not actually facing with the same problem here. It's just not looked into yet.
Good Lord. I'm not looking forward to the whatever version of Rupert Lowe you guys come into, because if they're not doing it now, they're doing it in the UK now. It's like
the closest we have to a Rupert Lowe of our own is a guy named Maxime Bernier. He's part of the People's Party of Canada, which is different than the Canadian Conservative Party. They're more right wing, but they're a lot more libertarian-esque, but not libertarian, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
But yeah, the guy himself is an economist, from if I recall correctly. So like he's been banging the drum for like 10 years about where everything's been heading, and he's been very correct. His main I guess his main kryptonite is the Canadian voters themselves. They are terrified of people. They're terrified of conservatives. So when they get confronted by someone that's more right-wing than someone like Pierre Poilievre, like they shit their pants. Like, oh, this guy like doesn't want to meet you in the middle. He wants the people to fuck off.
I don't know. Sounds pretty base to me.
Yeah, and it's like the main problem is that unlike the surge that Restore is having in the UK, this party is having a hard time getting even a single percent in a lot of places, because that much of Canada is still where Britain was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, they're not fully aware how bad things are yet. That's why
sorry.
That's why in sort of like an inference way, I still have some hope, at least down the road, things can start course correcting. because the majority of the people that voted for the current party are A, old, they're like 60 plus years old, and B, mostly female. I think the younger generations are going to buck against that once enough of them are in their 20s and 30s, given the kind of climate we're in now. So I think the pendulum may swing in the future, but I just don't see it happening yet. It has to get worse before it gets better, I think.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that, but I mean, it is how it has to be. I mean, hopefully you'll be out.
It's not me wishing for it to get better. This is me making an educated guess about the order of events, just to clarify for anyone listening.
No, I feel it. I mean, hopefully you're out before then.
Yeah, I'll be gone in September. I have a brother that's been living there for like a decade. He does some good work. He's a landscaper, and basically offered me one of the spare rooms. He said, "I want you in this province. I want you to come here, restart your life, sell what you can, bring what little you need." And that's the step where I'm at. But it'll give me a chance to like actually get on my feet and start putting money away to like have a chance at having the kind of life I've always wanted before I'm too old to do anything about it. Because I'm like 10 months away or so from turning 40. So I gotta get that shit unlocked down in a very tight window.
Well, hey man, you seem like you have your head on straight, and you're working. So there's that. A lot of people aren't doing that.
And luckily I got approved just last week actually that I can transfer where I'm going to. They understand that for a little while I can't go into the office because I have to leave my car here. I'm flying over there, and what little I own is going to be freighted. So I'll be able to work from home for a little while, and then after I can afford to pick up a vehicle, then I'll work from the office that's there.
There you go. Seems like you got a plan.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into it, and once I got over and like kicked myself in the ass about that initial fear from starting the ball rolling, I've been keeping my eye on it, and that's kind of how I've been like forcing myself through the mixed feelings. It's just like, you can worry about it later. This step needs to happen, and then this step, and then this step. Don't go out of order. You'll fuck yourself up. And then I just sort of hammer my head into the wall until each step has been done. So I'm almost there. I just got a few more things to do.
All right. Well, it's crazy because you're in Canada. Like a lot of people I know in Canada, they're like afraid to talk and like speak about these kind of things because it's like, well, I don't know if they'll get in trouble because I don't know if you guys have those like hate speech laws or something. Because I remember you said something about it. Is that also a thing there too?
Yes, we do have hate speech laws. The worst case I've seen were cases of parents losing their children because they don't agree with the gender-based grooming effectively that a lot of these schools are doing. There's one guy in BC that a tribunal fined him like $750,000 because he wouldn't respect pronouns or something stupid. Like absolutely draconian. And I was the kind of person that like most of my life, I would say, at least like from the point where I was being able to think about these topics from I'd say about middle school until my mid-20s, you would have considered me like a 90s Democrat in terms of like most of the policies I had. But after seeing like the massive rapid shift after the US's 2016 election, like it even affected Canada, and that's where like a lot of the TDS on our end started too. And I started questioning everything. And of course, when you're dealing with these kinds of people, the worst thing you could do is question them.
Yeah.
So I got ostracized from everything, and I had to sort of like rebuild friend groups at least twice because of that. Um,
Jesus.
I'm not like I said before, I'm not really like interpersonally a confrontational person. I don't like fighting and arguing. But over time, that got hammered into me that if you don't start standing up for yourself, or at least for the kind of core principles you want to live by, someone else is going to decide them for you.
True. True.
And that's sort of what's helped guide me towards, especially in the last few years, to be more vocal about my thoughts on certain topics. Because prior to that, I was very like just a few friends groups here and there that I would talk about it, and then you have that realization at some point where it's like, okay, every friend I have is holding a knife at my throat. I can't talk about anything real. Like everything has to be by their rules and their eggshells. So you either make the choice that you're permanently subservient to the ideology, or you just start breaking away and you start doing things your own way.
Well, now that you've done that, I'm assuming you found like way better friends.
Yeah, I would say probably my best friend now is one of my own coworkers. He's actually one of the guys coming tomorrow to play Magic with me. But he's more left leaning than me, and he's definitely more open ended to both sides, because he very much enjoys the devil's advocate kind of argumentation. But through my interactions with him, it helped me solidify what makes sense to me and what doesn't. So I have a ton of respect for that guy. And like, when someone can just be honest about what they're saying on any given topic, and they're not holding it against you, and even if you do have arguments, once that conversation is done, you've both moved on and you're talking about something else, like you moved on, those are friends you want. There's not a lot of them in the world, and people need to like start picking and choosing, because otherwise that you're gonna fall into a lot of traps. And I think that's just inevitable in some degree. That's just humankind.
True.
But yeah, it definitely helps that you need to be able to address problems with honesty. And if you can do it with people that are willing to understand that you're trying to fix a problem, and you're willing to have that back and forth, and it's not just, oh, you do what I say, or you're a racist or a bigot or something like that, then like all that's designed to kill the conversation. It's meant to kill your thinking and your ability to think. If you can be around people that don't do that, you're going to have an easier time getting through life. And when you do need help, you know who you can actually rely on, because you know they can help you think.
Yeah, very true. I feel like a lot of people don't have that, and it's very sad, because you'll see people that you once called friend kind of devolve into like literally the worst version of themselves, and they start surrounding themselves with worse and worse people, and it's like, brother, what the hell happened to you?
Yeah, it became sort of a normalized term. I think it was God Said that came up with it, but he calls it a mind virus. And it's not strictly just like one thing. It's not like just Marxism or just progressivism or anything like that. It's sort of like a template that gets copied from person to person, but they play on the worst aspects of somebody's personality. I think they call it like the dark triad or something, but people that have like ego issues, or uh, they find themselves more willing to be manipulative and stuff like that. It tugs at those strings because if you can assert some level of control over another person, that can give you a high. That can give a sort of an addiction, and like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm the good guy, and I feel good when I do this. But they become so blinded to the consequence of what they're doing that they start to filter it out, because at some point they'll get to a threshold at some point where it's like, I've done so much shitty things that if I acknowledge now that I was wrong this whole time, I have to undo so much damage, and a lot of people are not willing to do that.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well with a couple of people that I used to call friends. It was very interesting, and now they just kind of keep going further and further, and it's crazy because they think they're morally right, and they have all these people in their corners supposedly, they're like, oh yeah, I'm with you. You have the right opinion. You have all these friends or whatever, but then also you can see them post about how lonely and sad they are. So it's like, it's kind of it's insane.
Yeah,
to be honest.
the mask eventually slips, and it's a symptom. It to a small degree, it's like, in a sense, not entirely their fault, because there's such overwhelming pressure from all sides to follow that. But at the end of the day, people still need to remember everybody has their own agency. It's to go against that grain that's the hard part. I think the culture as a whole, at least on the US side, has definitely started shifting back towards center.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, when you're that far to one side, any shift in that direction seems like a massive thing, but it really isn't. It's a matter of understanding where the Overton window is compared to where everything around it is. But I would say it's understandable too that a lot of people don't think about that, because it requires a lot of abstract thinking as well, and like second and third order thinking, which I know it might sound mean to say, but I think a lot of people, maybe up to half, just don't even have that capacity. They just see what's in front of them, and that's it.
True.
So
Now
it's like,
go
ahead.
No, you're good. Go on.
I was gonna say, like, when you start thinking in multiple layers like that, you start realizing it's like, the only way to get some of these people to course correct is to make changes to the culture. If you can affect the culture enough to get it in the direction it needs to be going, it eventually starts to catch up with the politics. And I think the best example we have of that is the gaming culture.
And what makes you say that? Like, I have an idea, but like, what? I want to hear what you think.
Most people are familiar with like Gamergate and that sort of era, I think. But basically, you just had this like massive industry level push from game companies, game media, the publishers, to all push like very inherently left-wing ideology into all the game media, or at least as much as they could. But the gamers themselves realized that the initial crux of the problem wasn't what everybody was saying. It was that the journalists were lying to make reviews in order to get favor from the developers. Everything else aside that was noise. But it was hard to understand that from someone who wasn't in that sphere. So all the normies that generally don't play games, or they were just casual players, they never saw any of that. It had to get to the point where a lot of the AAA games were so bad in the same way that people started asking questions. And that was definitely like peaking around the COVID era, because everybody was locked inside. They had nothing else to do, so they just play, oh, what's the new game? We'll play that to spend some time. And then they're like, oh shit, this game is nothing like what I grew up playing. This is garbage. What the hell's going on? They go online. They start talking to each other. Culture starts to recognize a problem. Over time, culture starts to shift, and then they realize, okay, these are some of the patterns that we're seeing. We don't like these, so we're gonna stop buying the games that have these patterns. And then cut to a couple years later, you start seeing some massive games start losing money. You got Concord, High Guard, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know, it unfathomable amounts of money go into these games, and then they hit the floor. Sometimes they hit the floor so hard they buried themselves in a matter of weeks. But you start seeing this shift where the industry is starting to notice these games don't sell anymore. We need to stop making these games. And you are starting to see this in some of the newer games coming out, where you, especially more on the eastern side of like Asian games, hadn't been that badly affected. So you get a lot of really good titles more consistently. But there are some Western ones that are starting to like push out better indie and AA games that are more akin to like the games we used to play growing up. They're just focusing on the core mechanics. They're not shoving some sermon down your throat, and they're selling like hotcakes. And that's causing a core pillar of the current modern gaming industry to crumble. And I think we might see an eventual collapse to at least some of the gaming industry as a whole. But it's going to basically churn out a new generation, and the AA games of today will become the AAA of tomorrow.
True.
But because that massive culture thing is happening, we're starting to see some of these get into politics, and we can see that in initiatives like the Stop Killing Games initiative, which unfortunately failed both in California and the EU, but they got fairly close to getting their objectives on their very first push with almost no financing behind it. So it's like a wake-up call of like, your culture can make a difference, but you need direction, and you need consensus within your culture, and you need to weed out bad actors from it, and like let the market have a decision to what kind of stuff you want there to be. And things work out way better that way.
True. Now, how do you feel about Eastern game developers? Because they didn't have this issue where this toxic mentality takes over, and they've been. I mean, honestly, they've been kind of killing it. Let's be real here.
Yeah. I would say it would be false to say they were completely immune. There has been push and manipulation over the especially last few years. But I think it's because the translation wasn't there. So a lot of the activists were English speakers. So in order to get the activism to go through, you needed someone that was bilingual, or you would do it through translation services. But now that AI is able to auto-translate a lot quicker, that communication's happening faster. So we're starting to see some of the corruption happening. But because it was so slow to happen, the East saw how fast the West collapsed for their industry and started making their own steps to get ahead of it. So we have a bit of that equilibrium happening, and hopefully they're able to stay where they are and actually continue producing good games. What also helped them as well too is because the American, or not purely American, I should say Western, had such a down drop on the AAA games, they saw a massive uptake on their AAA games. So a lot of games like Wukong, for example, which I beat earlier this year, fantastic game through and through, and like it had everything you could want from a game, and it executed excellently. And it's like, it's not that hard to make good games. You just need people that want to make a good game for you, not use it as a platform for their politics. It's a world of difference.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I just want to as I was scrolling through, I ended up seeing a bunch of stuff for that Mark Carney fella as we were talking.
Yeah, he's getting grilled right now because of how bad he flubbed UMSCA, or I forgot what it was. Getting torched, deservedly so.
Huh. I wonder what's gonna happen. Is there any hope for the I don't know when your elections are?
Officially, they're not for another couple years.
Oh, okay, so it's gonna be a minute.
But there are some things that could trigger it to happen earlier. Either a vote of no confidence, or he resigns, or a couple other things. So I'm not expecting him to step down willingly, because he's exactly the fucking tyrant that Keir Starmer is. That they'll stay in there as long as they can. Another big problem we're having right now is that our tool and die industry is collapsing too. They basically said, like, we're on borrowed time right now, and we're going to start collapsing in a few months if nothing gets done about this, because the US was 80% ish of our like global trade, and
Jesus.
that is vanishing very fast. Yeah, so it's like, if we can't trade with the US, we're a fraction of what we were. And if we lose our tool and die industry, we lose our manufacturing industry that entirely depends on it. And if we lose manufacturing, we lose all those jobs, and everything else down the chain starts to collapse with it. It is a long chain of things depending on each other, and they're all losing their support. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's the same thing as, like, when somebody asks you, it's like, why did my food get more expensive? Because the gas went up. It's like, well, it takes fuel to grow your food. It takes fuel to transport your food. You know,
very true.
It's like there's a ton of extra steps people don't think about, and they take what they currently have for granted and underestimate how much influence and direct cause and effect is involved with all these different industries, and all of it ties to ultimately energy.
Real quick. I just got a raid, so I gotta. Hello, how are you? I didn't see who that. Oh, Scar. Oh, you want to know what's crazy? You know what's actually insane? I was thinking, when I got done with this, I was gonna raid into Scarlet. I literally had her chat pulled up right now. All I had to do was
know you.
yeah. She was like, you know what? I'll raid into you. I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, no, thanks. Don't get me wrong. Thanks. I just wasn't expecting that. It was crazy because all I saw, I heard like a little blip, and I was like, what is that? It said it's raiding. So yes, thanks for the raid. Hi, if you don't know, Jigs the Plague Doctor. I do a lot of different stuff, but right now I'm interviewing a homie. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself as well, because I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't seen him either. So we'll go from there.
I'm Adelaris, Addy for short. I stream on 5 different platforms, but mostly 2 of them are actually active. But it's Twitch, Rumble, Kick, X, and YouTube. If you want to interact with me, I'm on Kick and YouTube primarily, but I stream most evenings. Oftentimes I'll play either an RPG or some sort of survival crafting, or lately I've been doing a little bit more action RPGs, but very chill, especially if you like very bad dad jokes. I do those all the time with impunity. It drives my friends nuts.
We love that. Wait, weren't you the one also doing I saw you and Jess and a couple others, you guys were doing the like Phoenix Wright series or whatever? Yeah, and you guys were like actually voice acting the characters?
Yes, that's something we've been running for about a year now, give or take. But it's primarily me and my friend Asher, who actually is a voice actor, like, as a side hobby. And we recently brought in Mooberry to help us voice the females, because two big burly men don't really make great female voices.
Very true.
But we've been having a blast. It's really good fun because we're finally at a point of the story where I don't really know what comes next because I've never seen other Let's Plays or anything past the point we're at. So a lot of it's going to be blind to me now too. Asher helps guide us a little bit because sometimes the game doesn't make sense with what it's expecting you to do. But when you're just voicing the character, you're having fun, it gives you a little bit of practice, but it also for me personally, it's helped me with streaming a lot because it's helped keep me talking while I'm focusing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at my videos when I first started streaming as a VTuber, actually, even before I started my very first episode, I sat at my desk with my mouse hovering over the go live button, and I started sweating profusely for 10 minutes. I could not start the stream because I was so nervous.
Oh no.
But then eventually I'm like, what are you doing? You're an old man now. Just fucking go live, you asshole. And then I went live, muscled through it, struggled, but I got through it. And over time, I have been getting better. So I can actually keep up with the chat, at least when I do have chatters. But it's a learn by doing kind of activity.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with this.
Oh, no, you're good. I was thinking a lot of other streamers that I know have the same issue I did when I first started, and now it's kind of become second nature. And a lot of people, when they're looking into streaming and they want to start, a lot of the advice they get is, just practice talking to yourself. But the thing is, practice talking to yourself seems a little odd. But I mean, I don't know how other people work, but I know how I work. If I put pressure on myself by going live and then knowing for a fact I have to talk, that's how I get better at doing it. So if you look at some of the first streams that I've done, I'm not really talking at all. But now when you look at the streams that I'm doing currently, it's like, oh, dude, I can't shut up. So
yeah, and even today, I had a few people drop by to chat, but for the most part, it was a pretty quiet stream. So what I try to do to at least keep myself talking is I'll try to articulate what I'm thinking and verbalize my thought process in the decisions I'm making in the game. So at least that gets that desync going where you can actually focus on two things at once. Because when I'm offline and I'm just playing a game by myself, I could play for 10 to 12 hours and not say a word.
Yeah.
And just listen to podcasts and do stuff. And for a long time, when I was playing multiplayer games with some of the past friends I had, we would play 7 Days to Die or Civilization, long games, sometimes 12, 14-hour sessions. And we barely talked, a little bit at first, catch up with how life is going, whatever. But then after about 3 or 4 hours, we're just all listening to podcasts and we're all just playing and slight interchanges here and there, but it's not the same as when you're actually live and you're trying to perform. So you got to learn that skill set, and to some people it comes very naturally, and I'm a little jealous of them. They have that gift of gab.
Yeah,
I never had that. I have that quiet retard in the corner sort of vibe. But yeah, no, especially sometimes we'll have some streams. It usually happens more in the collabs where I'll be able to interact more, and I find that really fun. Especially I forgot what it's called, but Twitch has that ability where people can share chats.
Yeah.
And I find that to be really cool because you and the people you're streaming with will see the same chat simultaneously, and you can both interact with it at the same time. So that's super handy, and I hope some of the other platforms will start integrating that as well.
It would be nice. It would be really nice. But let me tell you something. Having the gift of gab isn't all that great, because there'll be multiple times where I'm playing a game and I'll just start talking, completely forget that I'm live, and then I just start saying insane shit. And then people in chat are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was being normal, and you were like, you were talking about eating people, and I'm like, dude, if they die, they're not using their meat. I really, it solves two problems. It solves two problems. All right, I'm hungry and I'm curious, and you're dead. So what are you gonna do? Say no? Yeah, but chat wasn't really
No.
chat wasn't really on board with that one, but
Understandable.
Yeah, like I'll convince him. I'll convince him. Trust.
Well, I'll convince you out of it, prions. If you cannibalize, you will catch fucking inverted proteins. They will tear your brain apart.
And I'm only gonna do it once. Okay, I will take that risk. Okay,
Sometimes it only takes once.
Whatever. We've tried every other animal on the planet, guaranteed, but we haven't tried human yet. There has to be a reason for it, and I don't want to hear, oh, it's because we're intelligent and we have emotions. And no, we don't.
I just told you the reason for it, because it'll kill you.
Nah, that's not a good enough reason. That's not a good enough reason.
Fair enough.
Is that an invitation to raid Hooters? Is that? I have no idea what they're talking about. Apparently, I don't know what they're talking about in chat, but apparently.
Hell yeah, IRL jiggle physics, let's go.
I mean, all right. Yo, did you hear that Hooters was trying to make it more family friendly?
I did. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, no, it's a horrible idea. Like, where are drunk men supposed to go at like 11 to get some wings and bitch about the game? Like, what are we doing?
Right. I think it's sort of like the opposite problem that McDonald's had. It used to be a very kid-friendly place to go, and now you go there and it's sterilized. And I think, like, on a culture side of things, that's not really a great thing. It's better when places sort of have their own niches. Not everything has to be for kids. Inversely, not everything has to be sexualized for adults either, but
True.
Context. But yeah, like, there's way too much everything has to be scrubbed down, sort of like sanitized, and it's very USSR kind of vibe.
Yeah, I can see that. Family friendly Hooters. I mean, that's what they want to do. If that's what they want to do, I will look forward to seeing all Hooters turn into something else in a matter of years. Because that's what happened to Applebee's. I don't know if you have Applebee's up there, but Applebee's garbage.
Sorry if this is off topic, but once I move, I do plan to start putting effort into YouTube. I have some ideas of some stuff I want to try out. I'll probably start cutting my streams of like the multi-part streams into like one long video. And I actually have a second VTuber model I've not officially used. I've teased it a few places here and there. I actually just sent you pictures of it, but it's a little tiny 2'5" evil wizard.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, who's this little fella?
And it was a character I had played in D&D a long time ago, and he was inspired by Vigor from League of Legends.
Oh.
And it's fine if you don't know who that is. It's basically an evil version of Phoebe from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, as soon as you said Vigor, I was like, I already don't like this guy.
But it was a character I played, and I had won a raffle for a Chibi avatar. And initially, I was going to get a Chibi Adelaris, but when I was like trying to like figure out how that should look, I got the little spark in the back of my head. I'm like, what if I just made an entire different character that I had a lot of fun with role playing as? So what I'll do, I'm waiting till after I move because I want to put more serious time and effort into it. Is I want to play some games where you're intentionally playing as the bad guy, but I'll play it as Erebus, the little evil guy.
All right.
And the hard part, I think, is going to be talking like him the whole time.
I believe in you. I bet you could do it.
He's very high pitched, very, very evil all the time.
Yes. I mean, hey man, with practice, I think you got it.
Yeah. I've been talking literally all day, so it's a little hard to do now because I worked this holiday. So I went 8 hours of talking and then 3 hours of streaming, and now you can probably hear my voice is starting to give.
And I feel that. I did 3 interviews a couple days ago, like one right after another, and by the end, I almost couldn't talk.
Yeah, you're like, I need to flop face down in the bed and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Is that a short joke? Yes. Yes, it is, Casey. Or, I still don't know what to call it. Yes, but that is a short joke. Honey tea helps.
Is that a short joke?
Honey tea does help. The problem I have with tea isn't that it's not good, but it makes me want to drink water, so then I just drink a bunch of water.
The only tea I drink is iced tea.
Fair enough. Do you drink it with sugar in it, or?
No, I actually buy the it's a recent thing, but I started buying the zero sugar, either Fuse or Brisk iced tea.
Okay. You don't have a black bone in your body then.
Well, I mean, I used to drink just the regular iced tea, but that I'm trying to be less fat.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
About to say something really off kilter. I'll wait till after the stream for
that. Fair. Oh dear. Well, I always ask one of the last questions, because we did talk about politics a lot, but do you have any knowledge to drop on chat? Any inspirational quotes? But anything.
That puts me on the spot. I'm a very jack of all trades kind of guy in some sense. I have a lot of knowledge, but a lot of knowledge about nothing in particular.
Fair enough.
My main thing, I'm pretty sure I touched this a little bit earlier, but my main thing to tell other people, it's you have to stop letting other people control how you think. And it doesn't mean that you have to go and be like an asshole. You don't have to go out of your way to, quote unquote, be a bigot or some sort of Islamophobe but if there's something on your mind, you're trying to think it through and actually verbalize it with someone if you have to, but don't let other people say you can't say that. Rather, if it's a problem, understand why it's a problem, or understand what the solution to the problem is, but don't fall into the trap of you can't say or think something, therefore you're a bad person, especially if it's not something you inherently believe. You're just trying to work out the pros and cons. Because there are things that people call thought-stopping mantras. As an example, say you don't inherently believe that trans women are women. That term gets thrown around a lot. They keep repeating it as if it's biologically true, but when you go to actually verbalize it, it starts to deteriorate under its own logic. So it's like people have to question that sort of thing. And again, this is just one example out of millions, but it's very topical. So you have to be able to have hard conversations, even if it pisses other people off, as long as you're doing it in a good faith way. Like, think and speak. And if there's a problem with it, that will come to light inherently. Or if what you're saying naturally holds, it will reflect reality.
Okay, fair enough.
It's just me off the top of my head. I didn't have anything prepared, but I'm trying to be as punctual to something I learned in my life, and I'm still working on myself. So I hope other people take that to heart too.
Okay. I just like asking everybody, because everyone comes from different places, so everyone always seems to have like a different bit of knowledge to drop, and even if it is relatively the same, they always articulate it in a different way. So if you didn't really understand it this way, maybe this person, how they say it, maybe rings a little bit more true to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I just wanted to thank you for being here. Chat, want to thank Chat for being here as well. I'm going to raid out to somebody in just a second. But also, I
Yeah,
wanted
if
to let you know that I do follow ups with people. So, like maybe 2, 3 months, something like that. I'll hit you back up to go do another interview and see, how much you've
oh
grown,
yeah,
what you've learned, all that good stuff, and we'll go from there.
this was fun. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening, I am open to chat with. If anyone has questions or whatever, you can find me on X at Adelaris Gallant. I'm pretty much an open book for most things. Just don't ask personal questions.
That's it. Fair.
uh,
Yeah.
but uh, but yeah, I enjoy meeting people and discovering like where things can go sometimes. Got a little bit of that adventure spirit, even though I'm kind of a hermit.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, man. Uh, thanks for being here. I'll see you on X, and behind the scenes, I'll talk to you about doing some collabs and stuff. But other than that,
Hell yeah.
I just want to say you have a good night, man.
You as well. Thank you, and take care, everybody. And bye bye.
Yep. Peace. No. Well, as you already know, we're doing a raid, and again wanted to thank everyone for being here, all that good stuff, listening, whether you had me on the background or not. But I wanted to do a nice little late night, low chill vibes type of deal with somebody else. So, hey, there he is. He's in chat. There he is. He's on X. Yeah, so you can see him and all that good stuff. Other than that, we're going to Rose of the Vampire, good friend, and I will see y'all literally tomorrow because I got another two. Got another two. Oh yeah, Vanzar. Yep. He's on the list for tomorrow. So you know him. You know Vanzar. You'll see him tomorrow. Other than that, y'all have a good night.
Jigs the Plagued Doctor just raided the Haven with 11.
Ooh, thank you for the raid, Jigs. Thank you. Wow. Oh my god. Freaking hobo shotgun. Shotgun. Oh, fuck. I'm dead.
Who's dead? Is everyone dead?